Right now, Dane County Commission is helping prevent floods with surveys. How their data gathering informs flood preparation. Also, the force celebrating spooky season a tad bit early. We'll take you inside the Haunted Library and meet some of its special guests. And do you remember trading cards with your friends back in school? Well, see how the hobby is still alive and well at Madison's Card Show. That's all coming up on News 3 Now. Welcome to News 3 Now. We hope you enjoyed the Minnesota and Iowa game. I'm Jalen Banks. We'll get to all those stories in just a sec. But first, let's go ahead and get a look at your first warn forecast with meteorologist Blaze Keller. Blaze.
We are looking at a pretty quiet night, all things considered. Eventually, we will settle underneath clear to mostly clear conditions. Temperatures right now in Dodgeville on our Upland Hill Skycam, 48 degrees, feels like 44, so there is a bit of a wind chill out there. And let's head on out to Brigham, also in Iowa County with our Wisconsin Mesonet. It's 46 degrees in Brigham. It feels like 42, so again, we do have that little bit of a wind chill out there. Noticing that the clouds are still sticking around. That will eventually change as we head into the overnight hours as a high pressure system continues to push out the last of these rain showers. We'll take it into about the Brigham area right there along 151 north of Barneveld. That's where a little rain shower is continuing to rain itself out. This may clip parts of Mount Horeb as well, but we are looking at just some light rain as of now. Also a little bit of rain out into Walworth County too. We're looking at the 30s and 40s tonight. A little bit more cloud cover off towards the Mississippi River Valley. Clear to mostly clear conditions further north and east. Jalen and folks at home, it's going to be a sunny and warm end to the weekend. Will that stick around into next week? We've got all those details and more in the full forecast.
All right, sounds good, Blaze. We'll see you in just a bit. And as always, you can track the forecast for yourself on the First Warn Weather app. It is hourly planners, road conditions, and even radar. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC Weather. And here in Dane County, the Capital Area Regional Planning Commission is working to prevent floods in rural Wisconsin. Through surveys of public road creek crossings, a team from the commission is able to put together a detailed report of the bridges and culverts. This helps smaller communities who may not have the resources or better understanding when it comes to preventing severe storm damage.
So what we're able to do with this data is inform the towns about the condition of their infrastructure to help them prioritize and make informed decisions about where to focus first to improve that infrastructure so that they can safely pass big stormwater events.
The goal is to keep towns in Dane County aware and prepared for potential severe storms. In addition to safety measures, the project also documents fish passages and stream health in the region. In Roxbury, a driver is in the hospital following a single vehicle crash. Officials say the crash happened just after 2 p.m. this afternoon. A driver had rolled over their car at the intersection of U.S. Highway 12 and State Highway 188 near Ganser's Motel. No one else was in the vehicle. Police say the driver is currently conscious and alert. The DeForest Area Public Library got their scare on early this year with their Haunted Library event. This afternoon, people were invited to make their way through the library's spookily decorated basement. And if the frights got too much, don't worry, because a certain ghost-busting group was on call. Mad City Ghostbusters, headed by Scotty Rorick, is Madison's own ghost hunting group. They bring scientific equipment all across Madison on the hunt of paranormal activity, often with fans in tow.
We have a tendency to stop at Quick Trip, which is not really just a plug for that, but we like to hang out there and get our big gulps and off we go. When we get there, then all of a sudden everybody's around getting their picture taken and checking out the vehicle as we're there, because Scotty's daily ride is the Ecto 22.
Today, the group brought along plenty ghost hunting equipment to show off. Also helping out with the distressing and decor was, among others, the DeForest Area High School Drama Club and Scouting America Troop 35. Today, Ghosts and Ghouls took to Sun Prairie in a parking lot, just not to hunt, but to bring some treats. The city's 6th annual Trunk or Treat took place outside the youth baseball complex, bringing families together for an afternoon of spooktacular fun. There was entertainment, games, and of course, plenty of candy to go around, which is passed out by local businesses and organizations.
So we focus on the local businesses, but of course it's open to anybody in the greater Madison area. We put out just like a form people can sign up. It's free for businesses to get involved, and it's just a really great way, and it's a win-win, you know, to get exposure for them, but also to bring in the community and make something special for everybody.
This year, the city also paired with Sunshine Place Community Resource Center to gather donations for their food pantry. The growth of sports cards and other trading cards around the world has been significant in the past few years. And earlier today, our Nash Dara checked out the 2025 Madison Card Show.
The Alliant Energy Center was host of the 2025 Madison Card Show. Let's take a look at some of the hundreds of dealers and thousands of cards that showed out. From baseball and football to Pokemon and basketball, thousands of cards were on display for buying, selling, and trading at the exhibition hall at the Alliant Energy Center, bringing in a community of collectors to grow and support one another.
The biggest thing is just developing relationships with dealers, so the customers and the people that are out here buying and selling and trading, you know, have a good selection of dealers to choose from, whether it's sports, Pokemon, memorabilia, whatever it might be, to have a nice diverse range of collectibles for the public to enjoy.
Trading card growth has been significant in the past few years, but for some people, it's been a part of their entire life.
I just turned 60, and I've been collecting since I was 12. I was 18, I started selling a little bit, local shows in Baraboo, where I'm from. Then it's an eBay hit back in the late 90s, and I started doing a little bit of eBay. But shows are much funner because you can interact with the people, and you can barter your prices and stuff like that.
Yep, 15 total, yep. I started in 1975. My dad, once in a while, would bring packs of baseball cards home as a kind of a surprise, and that's kind of just where the love started. And since 1975 on, I've been in love with baseball cards.
The ever-evolving hobby has been around for decades, but the blend between the old and the new has brought out diverse collections.
I got a little bit of Pokemon because that's very popular right now. 80s stuff, 90s stuff, 2000 stuff.
So Pokemon, it's skyrocketing right now. I don't even know where it's going to end. I just know that there's a lot of profit in it.
When talking profit and money, there is definitely that involved in the trading card world, especially when talking about Michael Jordan rookie cards.
It's a $12,000 card. That's an $8,500 card. That's a $6,500 card.
Now, Troy made the decision not to trade one of his Jordan rookie cards for my camera, but it was still a great time. At the Alliant Energy Center, Nash Dara, News 3 Now.
Nash, thank you. The event had expected over 2,000 people to stop by and held up about 150 to 175 separate dealers. Again, Nash, thank you. Coming up next on News 3 Now, the Trump administration won't use contingency funds to pay for November food stamp benefits. Why that is coming up. And the president is headed overseas to Asia for a near long week trip. Who he's set to meet with next.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
As the government shutdown drags on, the USDA says it will not tap into its contingency fund to cover food stamp benefits next month. That's according to a memo obtained by news agencies, which also says states will not be reimbursed if they use their own funds to pay for benefits. The memo says the $6 billion funds, quote, are not legally available to cover regular benefits. As a result, roughly 42 million Americans will not receive critical food assistance from the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as SNAP. Last week, Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins said food stamps will run dry by the end of the month if the lapse in federal funding continues. President Trump is off to Asia for 6 days, where he is expected to meet with a number of world leaders, including the Chinese president. This comes as the government shutdown continues. CBS News' Willie James Inman is in Washington with the latest details.
President Trump departed on a 6-day trip to Asia late Friday. His visit will include stops in Malaysia, Japan, and South Korea, where the president is expected to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping during the Asia-Pacific Economic Summit.
Well, we have a lot of things to discuss, including our farmers. We have a lot of things to discuss. The various trade deals that have been made in the past, and some broken, some not broken, but we've got many, many things. I think it's going to turn out to be a very good meeting.
The president says he is also open to meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un at the DMZ.
They have a lot of nuclear weapons, but not a lot of telephone service. So I'm open to it. I had a great relationship with him, and he probably knows I'm coming.
The president's visit to Asia comes amidst the ongoing government shutdown, which reached day 25 on Saturday. On Saturday, while aboard Air Force One, President Trump told reporters that an anonymous donor had contributed $130 million to the Pentagon in an effort to keep military troops paid during the government shutdown.
He's a great gentleman. He's a great patriot. He's obviously a very substantial man, and he contributed $130 million toward the military in order to make up any difference. So he wanted to see the military get paid. So did I.
The president blames Democrats for the shutdown and reiterated Saturday he is willing to sit down with Democratic leaders to discuss health care reforms, but only after they vote to reopen the government. Willie James Inman, CBS News, Washington.
President Trump is also expected to meet with the new Prime Minister of Japan during his travels. Sanae Takaichi was elected Japan's first female prime minister earlier this month. And coming up next on News 3 Now at 6, Blaze Keller returns with a complete look of your First Warn forecast.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
The Henry Vilas Zoo will soon welcome another polar bear to Madison. This is Siku, a 15-year-old male bear from the Lincoln Park Zoo in Chicago. Siku will be moving to Madison for a breeding recommendation in the coming weeks. His arrival coincides with the anticipated arrival of Nora, a female polar bear that is set to come to Madison from the Oregon Zoo in Portland. Both will join 26-year-old female Barrett. No word yet on the exact date when the bears will arrive. Today, the Wisconsin Weather Festival brought together meteorologists, climatologists, and scientists from across southern Wisconsin for the second year in a row. It took place at the Wisconsin Energy Institute on the UW campus. Attendees were able to learn from these industry experts on how weather is measured, forecasted, and warned for throughout the state. They also had a chance to see some real equipment used to measure the weather, as well as learn how to broadcast with meteorologists and get their forecast on the air.
I think the goal of the event is pipeline building and education of people, having a conversation for how important weather is and how it's used by everyone every day, whether it's a pilot, whether it's you driving to grandma's house for Thanksgiving dinner, or whether it's you going in to work. Should I ride my bike or should I take the bus?
Now, if you were watching that video carefully, you might have seen two familiar faces in attendance. Our chief meteorologist, Alex Harrington, and our very own Blaze Keller. We'll get to Blaze on that in just a second, but let's go ahead and get a look at the full First Warn forecast. Blaze?
Yeah, it was a great turnout. Lots of folks interested in weather, as again, it impacts everybody, whether it's the farmers, you're just going down the road to get some groceries, you just want to head outside. And so myself and Alex were able to hopefully educate a few folks about how we forecast and then how we present that to you at home so that you understand the complexities of the atmosphere. I'm going to try to do that here in this forecast. Sunday is going to be sunny after we slowly clear out the clouds tonight. A high pressure system just continues to sit over the Midwest. It is not moving very fast, and high pressure systems, they bring us the light winds and the open skies. We'll get the open skies tomorrow, not necessarily the light winds. We could be some gusts upwards of maybe 15 to 20 miles per hour. But we're looking at the upper 50s to low 60s tomorrow as winds remain out of the southeast. Here's a look at what's going on big picture wise. That high pressure system is slow moving, and as we get into these colder months, they get stronger. So that's the reason why this particular high is going to keep us quiet tonight, into Sunday, and then further into Monday as well. Despite the fact that winds will be out of the south, we don't see any rain until about Tuesday, but we warm up not only Sunday, but continue to remain warm into Monday. This low pressure system is interesting. We're going to watch as rain starts to move in starting later Tuesday overnight into early Wednesday. What we may see develop is a secondary low pressure system center to our south, and it will pull that moisture to the south with it. If it develops a little bit further north, we may get a little bit more rain Tuesday into Wednesday and then further into Thursday, which would be great because we still do need a lot of moisture out there. Rain chances over the next 7 days not looking too promising, which means our rain totals are not looking too impressive either. A lot more of that rain is going to fall off towards the west into the Dakotas on the edge of this high pressure system. And again, the ground is still, it's not frozen yet, so we can still put moisture into the ground. We did make 0.01% improvement on our moderate drought percentage. We will take any improvements that we can because it has been a very dry start to October. Hopefully things change here as we get closer to the end of October with that rain on Tuesday. Still looking pretty fall-like next week with dry conditions. Oh, I forgot to move the little pumpkin there, but on Halloween Friday it is looking dry, so that is some good news.
Well, when I first moved to Madison, my first Halloween, it snowed. So
anything, the bar's low.
Yeah,
anything is better than that.
If it's dry, I'm good with it. But real quick, how was the Weather Fest earlier?
It was good. You know, we got to meet a lot of folks, and everybody has questions about weather because, as I mentioned, it impacts everybody. And so it was just really fun to talk to Johnny. He was a little kid. Talk to Tim, talk to Tony, and just educate them about the questions that they had in ways that they can hopefully understand. And if not, you can always write us. And we'll always just try to tell you in the best way that we can why the weather is weathering.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Blaze, and thank you, Alex, as well, for going out there. And coming up in sports, a special guest on this week's Wisconsin Huddle, a Hall of Famer in many ways. We'll catch up with Joe Thomas next on News 3 Sports. Wisconsin legend and Pro Football Hall of Famer was on the Wisconsin Huddle this week. Sports Director Andrew Banstra asked Joe the tough questions. So get to know Joe in this Hall of Fame edition of the Badger Blind Rank.
Badger Blind Rank. So I'm going to tell you 5 things that you already know about yourself. What you may not know is how you would rank those in order, given that you don't know what the order I'm going to throw you at is. Okay. We'll start with being a Badger. On a list of 1 to 5, where would you rank that?
1.
Okay, and what does it mean to be a Badger? Why is that special
It's
to you?
special because it's my identity, right?
Sure.
It's where I went to school, where I played college football, where I learned to be an offensive lineman, where I came into manhood, where I met my wife. Like, the personality that I have today is because I went to school here and because of the great people that I met and the great coaches that I had allowed me to have my NFL career, which set up everything I'm doing now. So.
Okay, where would you rank this? As you may know, Joe Thomas is the NFL's Iron Man. He took 10,363 consecutive snaps. That is an NFL record. Where would you rank that 1 through 5? Or I guess 2 through 5.
Right, okay, 2 through 5. So I would say 2 probably because in my NFL career, I've done some things that I've gotten accolades for. Never any personal accolades, like never scored a touchdown, never had a catch. But like the thing I'm most proud of from my career is that consecutive snap streak, because to me it symbolizes I showed up for my teammates 10,363 times in a row to be a great servant for them.
I think that's a really good place to put it. And you mentioned All Pros. You were an 8-time All Pro, but you made a Pro Bowl in each of your first 10 seasons. You're one of 5 players in NFL history to do that. Where would you rank that, I guess, 3 through 5?
Not knowing what the other 2 are, I would say like number 4 maybe.
4?
Just got to give myself in case there's one that's lower than that.
Sure.
Like obviously I have pride in that, but individual accomplishments like that, they're great. Certainly helped me get in the Hall of Fame, which I'm proud of.
So you mentioned Hall of Fame. Where would you put the gold jacket on this list? You got, I guess, 3 and 5, and just that moment, getting the call, the induction, all of it.
I would actually, all right, I'll go 3 on that one. I'm glad I put the All-Pro below that because when I was playing in the NFL, I had 3 kids at the time. I got 4 now. And I remember that moment for the rest of my life because of the joy that I felt that my kids were able to be there and be part of something that felt like it was my football career.
That is amazing. And you saved 5 for another really good one. You were on 2 NFL All-Decade teams. Not very many people can say that. Would you have wanted that to be 5?
I would say maybe above the Pro Bowl All-Pro thing, possibly. Although being one of 5 guys in NFL history to make 10 straight Pro Bowls to start their career, the names on that list are also pretty cool.
And to watch the full episode, you can head on over to channel3000.com. And as always, join us and Andrew at 7 p.m. at Jay's Bar in Madison for a live taping of next week's show with Wisconsin Volleyball's Madison Quest.
That'll be fun. I can hear the audience every time that we air it, and they seem to have a fun time.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can continue to fill up Jay's. Now, tonight it is going to be cloudy to start, but we will eventually see more clear conditions out there. Temperatures are not going to be as cold as where they have been over previous nights, but we will dip back into those 30s with 60s and sunny conditions for Sunday.